And we are live! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Billy and Andre Show, the only show that will make you say, oh, look, it's Billy and Andre. And why are they spitting on an effigy of Keir Starmer?
Still can't do that either, Billy.
Spitting's fine. I could say that without getting banned, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna get banned.
Well, that we will leave to the whims of fate because I'm not doing the intro again.
Okay.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm really good. It's only second try. Like, you gave up quickly on that one.
Everything I can the only thing I can think of, that would be topical for this, for this episode.
It's violence, but we shouldn't. We had this conversation.
Not violence, just intense disrespect.
I mean, you could say the only show that intensely disrespects Keir Starmer.
Oh, wow. I should have thought of that like 20 seconds ago when we actually were doing the intro. Thanks, buddy.
That's right. Well, you said you wanted the intro, so I'm not going to, completely shut you down every single time you do something like that.
Yeah, well,
yes, I will.
Anyway, so... if you've read the title of the video, which I'll probably call Sir Keir Starmer's waging war on wanking or something like that.
Wow, it's seriously not going to go anywhere. I love this.
Say goodbye to the monetization. Bye rationality.
Yeah, that's right.
So, the UK is kind of shit.
But that's been going on for a while, Billy.
That's been going on for quite some time. This is not a new phenomenon. But, the UK is... sort of slowly becoming more shit, over time it sort of accumulates, and rather than focus on any of the actual issues that are causing England to become shit, the poverty, 1 in 4 children in poverty in England, massive food bank usage.
It's ridiculous that, right? You just think about it. It used to be one of the richest countries in the world, the most influential powers in the world, and 1 in 4 children are starving.
Yep, and to be fair, that was kind of true at Britain at the height of the Victorian era as well. No matter how much money England has, it makes sure, very, very sure, that children are hungry.
Should we put that on a banner then?
Yeah, we probably should, but there's a whole other list of problems that I've got here. The privatisation of the NHS, the frozen wages due to inflation.
Well, they're actually privatising the NHS or just certain aspects of the NHS?
I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic or not. This has been going on forever, dude. Come on. This has been happening since I was a kid.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just being...
You played it off quite well there. Well done. So frozen wages, massive child poverty. The government's currently supporting a genocide and sort of humming and hawing about it. They're
not directly supporting it, but they're just not doing anything about it.
Yes,
there's a difference.
They are. We sell a lot of weapons to Israel, man. It's like they're one of our top buyers of weapons. That's kind of a thing.
How else are you going to kill children in poverty? That?
Exactly. And everyone's like, whoa, what about all those jobs? Well, those jobs clearly aren't paying, for the entire country to get out of poverty, so there's no point in selling weapons to warmongers if there's no fucking point to it. But yeah, instead of, dealing with all of these, Sir Keir Starmer, as he is legally known, not by any sort of respectable people, he's decided to do... the impossible, right? He's decided to do something that's so unlike him, that's so different and radical. He's decided to keep a Tory policy and then defend it as if it was his. So you may have heard the recent introduction of the Online Safety Act, which is the main topic of my whining this episode. Keir Starmer's getting a lot of flack for it.
Rightfully so. Coming from all sorts of interesting angles as well, such as Nigel Farage, who has managed to sort of outflank Labour on this by just basically saying this is an anti-free speech move. Listen, if Nigel Farage is arguing with you, and we all know he's extremely wrong about a lot of subjects,
yes,
you're doing something really bad.
Yeah.
Like if we sort of agree with Nigel Farage, but I'm not saying he's a good person and I will support Nigel Farage, well, if he,
it's heartbring. Worst person
it
hurts.
Good point. It hurts me physically and psychologically. It doesn't keep me up at night yet, but
yeah, it will give you a mild headache in the morning. That's what this kind of thing
you wake
does,
up in the morning and
I can't believe I agree with that.
I can't believe Nigel Farage is right.
Yeah,
and it just hurts me, dude. It just makes me so depressed.
It's like an accident of fate, but Nigel Farage, for all of his faults, is not a stupid man.
He's very, very clever, and he's very, very good at identifying what regular people sort of will give a shit about and what they won't.
Well, we all know exactly what his angle is, right?
Yeah,
he wants to get into power, so he's just arguing with everything.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was good. No matter which way Labour went on this, he was going to argue against them. The problem is, if he goes this way, he's also correct, which is a problem.
Which is so bad.
It's really fucking annoying. I mean, it really pisses me off when people, like, in the pub sometimes, they say, oh, why are you complaining about the state of the government? Isn't Keir Starmer on your side? And I'm just like...
No, he's not on nobody's side. Like, you can't say Keir Starmer is on anybody's side. He is on the side of the rich. And he is on the side of just oppressing everybody's rights.
And Israel, obviously.
Dude,
but
yeah.
I'm not going to derail this about Israel. But
yeah, because you are going that way.
Really want to, but...
That's fine. You could always make another rage video. If you feel like
it. It would be 17 hours long because I would have to explain the entire history of that in blighted area of the world, and it would be really depressing.
As a British society, we kind of fall there, but that's besides the point. Right?
Yeah. Anyway, getting off track here. But yeah, it really infuriates me when people say that Keir, isn't he a lefty? Isn't he on your side? I'm like, fuck you, no. Just because he's wearing a red tie doesn't really mean anything. I mean, he's Keir Starmer isn't even on anybody's side. He's not even on his own side. He doesn't know what that side is.
I think because he is so spineless, he will never actually do anything that is for the good of anybody. He just agrees so he doesn't get out of power quicker.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I don't even know how much control he really has over his cabinet. I don't know who's really pulling the strings.
Somebody is.
It's probably not him because, if I ask you, if I say, what does Nigel Farage want as a politician?
Exactly. You actually know what he wants. You know exactly. At least
kick out immigrants, blame brown people for the country's problems, moan about race statistics because England is 1% less white than it was 10 years ago, that kind of thing. You know what he cares about.
Yeah, but you don't want him in power, but we don't want
that should go without saying. But Keir Starmer literally just doesn't have anything. He doesn't. If you I'd ask you, what does Keir Starmer want? I don't know, a full English breakfast sometimes, maybe. And he probably complains about the bacon having too much fat on it. That's basically what Keir Starmer is.
Smoked bacon you just served me? Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but I don't find the smoked bacon to be particularly satisfying. I prefer an unsmoked rasher, if you please. Thank you.
I take him as a kind of person that just eats flavorless, smokeless bacon.
Yes. He's the kind of person who doesn't salt his eggs,
Dude, that's...
He has a piece of plain white toast with a single boiled egg on it every day for breakfast. That's him.
No, he's a sir. He will have it poached.
People make comparisons between him and John Major. John Major was way more interesting than Keir Starmer.
That says a lot.
I know. I mean, John Major came from a circus family. He has a really interesting life. Keir Starmer does not have that problem. He does not have any sort of... He's not an interesting politician. It's not really worthwhile sort of talking about him in any sort of context. So the only thing that he sort of does is just sort of get blamed for shit that's going wrong, even if he had nothing to do with it.
But it does feel like he was voted in just because we didn't have a choice. The same with what America thought about Trump first time around, and second time around, I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, just insanity and cult shit. We can't get too distracted, but the Trump phenomenon is something that's going to be studied by sociologists and anthropologists for fucking years to come.
Yeah, you imagine someone is going to dig up our society after the inevitable collapse of it, and they'll be like, why did they vote for this guy? What's wrong with them? See, this is the problem. This is why they're extinct.
Yeah.
They voted for people like this.
They're going to be looking through the layers of rock formations,
and all of a sudden it's orange.
Yeah, it's just a thin layer of polyester red hats. And they're going to go, this is the substance that killed people. Polyester is clearly danger.
This red hat phenomenon, actually, when I see a red hat now, doesn't matter if it's a football hat or whatever.
You just
immediately I look and I have a little gag.
Yeah, and then it says Man United on it, and then you gag even worse.
No, you're not even into football. So do not take any stands. You do not follow football.
I do not give a shit about football, but it's just funny.
So do not say that. Man United are right.
So yeah, the Online Safety Act. What is it? What does it do? Everybody knows what it does.
practically at this point. But
if you live in the UK.
If you live in the UK. Actually, in other places around the world.
France?
We'll sort of get to that, because I'm going to get a bit tinfoil hat for a second, and I want to see your thoughts on it. But yeah, so the Online Safety Act, basically its idea is, if there's any site that has inappropriate material for children on it, that's a nice vague legal term, we'll just leave that there. Anything that's inappropriate for children has to have ID, like show your ID, show your face to the AI machine, age restrictions on it now. Mostly this, most people are noticing this because porn sites now require you to, like, show your driving license or submit your face to the ID scanning machine that barely fucking works.
Have you tried it?
No, but I have seen lots of stories of people basically just faking it and getting through it pretty easily.
Weren't there stories of people putting just celebrity faces, pictures of celebrity faces on?
Yeah, people using Death Stranding pictures. If your like AI system could be tricked by a fucking Hideo Kojima game, then your system does not work. It's fucked. It's pointless. Yeah. So what's the reasoning for this? Why did the Tories pass this in the first place? Well, they did this big review. They collected a bunch of information and scientific information that said porn is bad. I've actually looked into the science on this. Like, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. It's actually not very clear, like, whether porn is harmful for society or not. There's a bunch of restrictions, mostly ethical, on, like, why you can't just put a person in a room, blast pornography at them, and then see what the effect is afterwards, because, it's unethical, especially when you're looking at, children. We can't do that to children. It's probably a bad idea,
I mean, yeah, you shouldn't do that to children.
Yeah, exactly. So the data on this is actually kind of all over the place, and it's very, very term specific. So, for example, what's classified as, like, violent pornography in the UK is actually very different to what's categorized as violent elsewhere.
Okay. Okay.
And you're trying not to sing the System of a Down song. Me too. But
no, yeah. But here's my question: which countries were they comparing to the UK? Because probably German pornography is completely different than British pornography.
Probably.
I imagine.
I think those cultural distinctions have largely gone away since the internet has sort of, like, homogenized everything, because you can get everything everywhere now. But I remember a few years ago there was some controversy when the Tory government included sitting on a guy's face as extreme pornography.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Actually,
yeah.
I do remember that.
That was a good couple of years ago now, but it was fucking stupid at the time, and everyone made fun of them for it, because why wouldn't you?
They're just running out of things to talk in the government, do they?
Yeah, they're running out of things to ban,
Why would you fix actual problems, right, when you can talk about porn? There are a whole bunch. It's a frat house in there, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Because they're just talking. They're like, oh, do you know we can fix this? Oh, porn.
Yeah.
That's how it feels, right?
Yeah, literally. It's the stupidest and daftest way to do what they're allegedly, trying to do here, is protect kids from the harmful effects of pornography, which may or may not exist. We can sort of, talk about what those harmful effects might be. Most people sort of point at, attitudes towards women being affected by porn, which I can see,
Well, it makes sense, yeah.
If your, like, entire sexual life is just watching porn, then I can see why you might have some really dodgy ideas about, Those people are a lot rarer than you might think, though. I believe, like, porn addiction is, like, quite extreme. You have to be watching a lot of it to be classified as addicted. It's like, over 10 hours a day or something. And, traditional definition of addiction is, as long as it's not ruining your life, it's not an addiction, That's generally how we sort of, that's how you draw the line there.
Yeah. So when you say you're addicted to caffeine, you're actually not addicted to caffeine according to that study.
Kind of, yeah.
Because it doesn't ruin your life not having a coffee. You'll have a bad day, but it wouldn't ruin your life.
It would, if it makes it so that you can't go to work without having like 4 cups of coffee a day, then maybe it's affecting your life,
Fun fact, which has nothing to do with the subject. When you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I really need a coffee because I can't start my day. You don't actually need a cup of coffee. You're not tired. You don't need a cup of coffee. You're actually just coming off of the addiction.
Yeah.
So you basically the withdrawal symptoms that are asking you for another coffee. So if you would give up coffee for about a month's time, you would not wake up in the morning and say, I really want a cup of coffee, because you don't need it. There you go, fun fact.
To be fair, caffeine is kind of, it is an addictive substance because it does flush you out, and then, it sort of sucks at the parts of your brain where, give me more energy now,
Yeah.
It does sort of burn you out a little bit.
Porn doesn't work like that, at least not porn addiction. I mean, porn addiction works in the same way as like exercise addiction does, or like being really addicted to anime, or anything.
Are you taking jabs at me?
No, dude.
It just felt like you were taking jabs at me. That was very oddly specific.
I'm just talking about, like, you know, regular stuff that regular people do. Okay, you know, like, thanks. I got super into Evangelion. You know, I binge watched the thing in like 2 days. It didn't make any sense. It was a great time. I have been known to dabble in anime addiction. But the point is, basically anything that makes you feel even the slightest bit good in any sort of physical way can be addictive. Exercise being like a key example, you know. Yeah. Some people, that, you know, if they don't work out, they get really stressed, they get like hyper, they get twitchy, they get angry, you know, that kind of thing. Basically anything can do that. Like, just, you know, hanging out with your friends is kind of an addiction in a way, because you get like a positive sort of, you know, you get endorphins and positive, you know, emotions from that. So therefore, technically, it could be addictive. You know, this is the kind of addiction that, you know, porn is. It's just it's addiction to stuff that's already within yourself, if that makes sense. Like your own sort of hormones, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, the reason that porn is allegedly a problem is because, you know, this changing attitude towards women and girls, you know. I would sort of counter that and say, even before the internet, way before the internet, the attitudes towards women and girls and the level of violence against them was not great.
No, it wasn't.
In fact, it was worse.
It was much worse, yeah.
Yeah, you know, crime has been like sort of on a decline basically since the 90s, like violent crime, rapes included. You know, it's been on a massive downward curve since the 90s. A lot of that is probably because we took lead out of petrol.
I mean, that always helped.
Yeah,
that did help.
It does help. But, you know, the rise of the internet was sort of occurring at the same time, and we haven't really seen it spike back up in terms of like violence against women and girls. We haven't seen the internet and internet porn really.
But was that
effect.
Actually studied? Can we put lead back into petrol and see what happens? Or we should have did that.
Yeah, we've known lead is bad for you since like the Romans, dude.
I know. I know what you're saying. But is that proven? Can we put lead back into American petrol?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I think they were the last ones to take it away.
Supplied petrol. See, that's an idea.
And then we can like, you know, leave the car running, like, to test it. And,
yeah.
You know,
with him in there and take a hose. And, never mind. Go on. Let's move on. Sorry.
Now who's trying to get banned?
Well, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Oh no, I didn't say it. Anything that could be construed as an actionable threat against the United
Trump
States.
Should be in the car with okay, go on.
Yeah. So, is it like a bad thing in society? It's actually kind of hard to test that. The only way you could really sort of, I suppose, test it would be try and eradicate it from society altogether, which I suppose is kind of what this thing is trying to do. But the problem with that is, like, you can't really ban porn. You know, it's impossible. You know, it's like banning alcohol or banning drugs, you know?
Oh, they did try banning alcohol in the
Yeah, and what happened?
It did not work well.
It did not.
It's going to be just off-market porn.
Yeah, basically, that's what's going to
And that's going to be even worse, because then it's not an actual legitimate trade. It's not recognized. And then women's going to be still doing it. And men will still doing it, but it's going to be illegal. And then it opens another can of worms. It's like just a can of worms on top of a can of worms.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's going to get even worse, right?
It is.
Because we are closer now as a society to legalize the sex trade, which is, I mean, if people want to do that for a living, that's their choice.
Yeah.
And if you actually build it in such a manner where you can tax everything and everybody that is a willing participant to this are being tested and they're going through, they get all the vaccinations and all that, and their sexual health is taken care of.
Yeah.
It's going to be much better, like Amsterdam.
Amsterdam does that. Australia has a really good system as well.
Yeah, but then it's safe for everyone. It's safe for the people that willingly want to do this, right? So it gets so much better. But yeah, you can't ban porn, because if you ban porn, then everything gets illegal and everything is going to be even more dodgy than it is at the moment.
Yeah,
like the whole industry itself is kind of broken.
It is. It's a really fucked up and exploitative industry, because of course it is. I mean, every industry technically is exploitative in some way, but porn, obviously, you know, you kind of have it's kind of similar to what pro athletes have in a way. Like, you get like a whole bunch of money when you're like young, and then as you get older, you know, you kind of you run out your shelf life, as it were, you know?
Yeah.
And there's only so long you can really do that kind of stuff without, like, it just sort of eventually just sort of, you know, being a bit too much, you know?
Yeah.
It's a hard job, you know? much respect for people who take part in it. Not my cup of tea. Thank you very much. But yeah, so banning things just in general, if it's a thing that people want, people are going to find a way to get it.
Yeah.
We were around before the internet. We grew up sort of alongside it. But I remember there was methods of distributing porn before the internet, people,
Wasn't there wasn't there a back room with, I don't know if you had the same thing, because I remember renting CDs back in the day.
Rental CDs.
Rental CDs back in the day. But in Romania, it's slightly different because all the movies were pirated. And there weren't the original movies on there. And they were like sort of cinema clips, kind of, they were recorded in the cinemas. And then
some guy stands up halfway through.
Exactly. So it was like that. But if you wanted porn, you had to go behind the veil. It was a curtain, and you were getting porn from that.
The magical curtain of protection.
Yeah, because that's what it kept people away from finding out there's porn there. And that's how that was.
The thing is, before the internet, people think, all these perverts, they collected on the internet, and then all of a sudden there's more of them. It's like, no, those perverts, those porn freaks were...
They all have been there.
Yeah, it used to be, distributing, DVDs and videos and, magazines, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as you sort of alluded to earlier with, alcohol and drugs and everything, as soon as you're, off the market and you're in the black market of porn, anything goes, and it's really, really fucked up, and there's lots of really, really creepy perverts and really fucked up shit,
there's no rules into place.
Yeah.
It stops you from getting pedophiles, getting child pornography.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that's, with Tor, the dark web browser,
Yeah.
It's readily available. It's basically, it's around. Everybody, I know a guy who has Tor on his phone, and he just uses it so that the government won't track him. But it's still it's
not a bad shout actually nowadays.
That's the thing. We'll get into the government surveillance part of this in a minute, but the widespread use of VPNs, I mean, everyone's seen the article, 1,800% increase in VPN downloads, and that was just one company.
So the ads are all over now.
Yes. Every single ad I've been seeing has been
it's just
NordVPN and shit.
Because I do dabble in sort of those free-to-play games on the phone, because, sometimes I just want to kill a little bit of time, and I don't have access to the PlayStation or whatever, and I just go play that. Most ads now are VPNs.
Yeah.
Some form of VPN. That and Temu for some reason.
Fucking Temu. I hate the Temu adverts so much. Side note, but I genuinely despise whoever made the Temu adverts. They are just awful. And I mean, what is Temu? Is it supposed to be rich people shit? Is it supposed to make you feel like you're rich, or is it supposed to be cheap? Is it supposed to be practical things?
There's nothing practical on Temu. I had a keyboard, did not last very long.
Oh, was that your old keyboard? Was from Temu?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, because listen, I paid about £6 for it. And it lasted a lot longer than I expected. I'm like, this is gonna die soon. And it was a nice mechanical, the clicks on it was very satisfying. I'll give it that. It had nice clicks on it.
Nice
I still
clicks.
have it. I sometimes go to it and I'm like, hey, old friend. Just press the buttons for the click.
You're in an intimate relationship with a mechanical keyboard. I appreciate that. The thing with this porn ban is it basically isn't, it isn't successful on the very first phase. When this thing was announced, my first thought was, okay, so I'm guessing that VPNs aren't going to be able to get around this. I figured that there's some way that they've prevented VPNs from getting around, because otherwise what would be the point, right?
Yeah.
No, they haven't done that. They can still get around with even the most basic bitch VPN possible.
Well, here's what happened first. So before the porn ban actually came into place, in the UK, well, I think it was worldwide that this happened. Steam got attacked by MasterCard and Visa.
Yep. So did itch.io as well.
Yeah, because the government decided to be like, no, we need to take off of Steam all the porn games and whatever. But there's still, porn games on Steam, they're still restricted. So you couldn't get access. So Steam already has the sort of things into place to prevent children from actually getting access to them. So it's not like you could have just randomly gotten access to porn. They will not advertise to you because you have to pay with a card, and in order to have a card, you're going to be age verified anyway.
Yeah.
Only if it's your parents' card, but then that's your parents' fault for not actually putting the... Because here's... Should I start being angry at parents?
Yeah, get angry. Go for it.
Cool. This is not the government's place to tell me I can't download porn games without giving them my ID.
Yeah.
Right? As a child, it's not the government's place to tell a child you're not allowed to have porn. It's your bloody parents' fault.
Yeah.
That's their job. That's what they're there to protect you. It's not the government's role to protect you from porn. It's your parents' fault. So the way I feel about this, if you feel kids have too much porn, maybe it's your fault.
Yeah.
As a parent, that the kids have too much porn because you can't control them. You can't teach them anything. And also, the government needs to start going into schools and teaching kids about sex properly, as in a curriculum that is actually working for the current environment where kids have access to a lot more information. Not just this, when a man and a woman, they love each other very much. No, that's not what you need to teach them.
Here's a black and white line drawing.
Yeah, this is how you put a condom on. I mean, just imagine
we didn't even get that.
I imagine a lifeless teacher that would be like, oh yeah, so you have to do this. No, dude, just teach them the way the world works.
Yeah, it's have a Q&A. It's not too difficult.
Yeah.
So this online porn ban, it's not working because everyone has a VPN, and most VPNs kind of have like you said, the credit card age check anyway.
Yeah.
So that's fine, I guess. Is it going to stop children? Probably not. They're much more tech savvy. Like Zoomer kids, 18-year-olds or whatever, are way more tech savvy than I was at that age, and I managed to get around any filters that were put on my internet pretty fucking easily.
It's not hard.
I mean, LimeWire still exists, people. LimeWire is still there. It's messed up. It's like a really bad way to interact with the internet, but it's still there.
You're just giving people bad ideas.
I kind of am at this point, but these are things that any sort of competent person within the government would have thought of in 5 seconds if they actually.
But no, they
people.
wouldn't think about this, dude, because everybody in the government's over 60. It feels like a retirement. Our government feels like a retirement home.
Yeah.
None of them should be there. None of them actually have a good opinion about anything that we want as a society, as young people, the ones that inherit the government, basically.
Yeah.
They have no clue. So they're gonna set this path for us because they're all 60 and they're just waiting for the Grim Reaper to show up. And
what you mean? They're going to be placed in the House of Lords.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a House of Lords is a retirement house.
It's just so bad. Like every time you watch the House of Lords debate anything, there's like 5 guys asleep.
Yeah,
they're old and dying. Why are they in charge of things?
Why are they in charge of things? No, because they're setting this path out, right? Because they're misinformed and they have no idea how the world works at the moment, and they're just setting a path out for all the young people to actually inherit something so much worse than what we inherit. We thought we had it bad.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the next generations after us.
Yeah.
Right? When we're gonna be 60, we're gonna look bad and be like, you guys have it worse. I swear to God, we can't be like the boomers. Back in my day, we're not gonna be like those boomers.
No,
we're gonna be like, we actually didn't have it that bad.
Yeah, because I remember
we actually were able to have a
happening,
podcast and talk to each other, and
Yeah, we didn't get shot in the back of the head.
Exactly. We were not going to camps if you actually had an opinion. This is how it feels, dude. It's like you stop us from saying things all the time. Dude, it's stupid.
That's probably the strongest argument against this whole thing is just who decides what's inappropriate for children to see? Who decides? The government? Because
why is the government the president? How about it?
The government.
Stop, Andre.
Well, it raises a good point. The government's involved in all sorts of shit they don't want you to know about or think about. Israel being the primary one. And police brutality. They don't want people to be able to see police brutality because you might question the state. You might question the necessity of police in this world. You might question how the government's running things. And we don't want children to be doing that, even though they just love
running things.
No, it's insane. The government at the same time has lowered the voting age to 16, but also said if you are 16, you can vote, but you can't watch some titties. That's the attitude.
Also, you can't drink and you can't
smoke.
You can't smoke. Yeah.
You can't even get a real paid job. You have to take less wages than everybody else. I don't know.
£8 an hour.
Ugh.
£8 an hour.
Ugh. Sorry, that just feels like. I last worked for minimum-ish wage about sort of 10 years ago. Yeah. Ever since then, I've been slightly above minimum wage. But, the minimum wage for when you were 16 when I was a kid was £4.75.
Yeah.
And I got a $5 an hour, and I thought I was doing great,
And it's stupid, right? Because some of the kids that I work with, and I think about the fact that they're getting paid a little bit less than everybody else. I'm like, dude...
Yeah.
I would pay the guy that is over 25 so much less.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even pay. I will ask him to pay me for experience just to be here in the building. Like, I'm not even joking. Some people, and then you have this kid. Like, I closed last night with this. She's 22. She's not a kid, but she's 22. But she still gets paid a little bit less.
Yeah.
Because she's 22 and all that BS. Actually, not sure. Never looked at the contract. Probably she's paid a little bit better than everybody else. But she's absolutely brilliant. Just gets on with it, gets the job done. She's bubbly. It was a pleasure to close last night, right? And then if you give me the other guy, I'm like, it feels like pulling teeth, and I'm like, dude, just close the coffee machine, dude. Told you that 2 hours ago. Why is it still on? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, the idea that like teenagers are inherently worth less as a monetary value is kind of insane to me.
It is insane.
It's like they're there giving you their time, therefore you should pay them for their time.
Yeah,
know?
and I met teenagers that are so much better
than like some clapped out 40-year-old with like a drug problem who's like,
yeah,
he's just working kids, the job to like pay for his kids or whatever.
Those kids will go drinking till 4 o'clock in the morning. They will be out at 8 o'clock. They're working like they have no issues. The guy, the 40-year-old, he's gonna go drinking until 4 o'clock in the morning. You cannot talk to him for 3 days. So you know what I mean? Like, it's hospitality. It's
you kind of need to be able to talk, you know,
yeah,
for the most part.
Also be able to drink and then work the next day, because you know that's how you put down drama.
It literally is.
Back
to the online
Sorry.
safety. No, that was a good tangent, dude. Back to the online safety thing, though. Besides the fact that it sort of doesn't work, let's get to the sort of real problem that everyone really has with it. You know, besides the fact it doesn't work. I mean, that was obvious. That was always going to be the case. I mean, they try, you know, banning alcohol and cigarettes for under 18s doesn't work. Why would it work on the internet? You know. Quite apart from the fact that it doesn't work, the main problem is, of course, the implications of scanning your face into an AI system that is controlled not by the websites that are actually putting it up. Pornhub or whatever is not getting your face. You know who is getting your face?
The government.
Not necessarily.
Not the government. It's an outside company, isn't it?
Of course it is, because it's Labour and they privatise the shit out of things.
Yeah, just give it to Elon Musk.
Well, it's actually not Elon Musk.
For a change.
For a change. It's his former boss, Peter Thiel.
Oh. Was it the guy from PayPal?
Yes, the guy from the PayPal ghoul who looks like his skin is melting off of his face, thinks that he's some sort of Christ-like figure, believes that the world is going to end because of technological advancements, but yet pursues those technological advancements anyway.
So he is trying to end the world then?
Yes, because he believes he's the Messiah and doesn't believe in the inherent value of human life. He's a genuine demon. He's like one of the worst people who ever lived. And he's in charge of everyone's face data now.
Yay.
Yay! This is where like the worldwide, like the tinfoil hat conspiracy bullshit comes in. Because,
this is the conspiracy party told me.
Well, I'm not sure if it's like a conspiracy or if it's just a thing that's happening. Because all of a sudden, literally, and I do mean all of a sudden, this ban comes into place. Then you get America doing something similar. They're trying to push through at the moment. They're trying to make you. They already have it in certain states where you have to like use your ID to get onto porn or whatever, like Texas and whatever. But now they're trying to roll that out nationwide because, you know, Donald Trump loves the surveillance state.
Well, fascist nation. Dude.
Fascist nation.
What are you talking about?
Need a good surveillance state. Need your 1984 shit. You know, if you don't have 1984 levels of control, then what's the point of being a dictator?
I mean,
you know?
You can't be a proper fascist without that.
No, you can't. I mean, unless you have the right legally to stick your
Mussolini
hand.
will look down at him. It's like, I think that's his role model, isn't it?
Mussolini only exclusively looked up. Because
because of his double chin.
Yeah. And also, you know, he got hung upside down. Probably the most flattering angle for him. But yeah.
That's nice of the Italian government to put him in a nice light.
The funny thing is, the descendants of his fascist party are currently in charge of Italy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We know.
It's weird.
We are all aware the world's going to shit, though.
Yeah. So let's keep reminding people about it.
The all 12 people that listen to this.
All 12 people, yes. But yeah, the evil demonic ghoul, basically, through his company Palantir, has kind of he signed a whole bunch of deals with the Trump administration to basically run their surveillance network to collect everybody's data. He's kind of, you know, pushing these kinds of laws around like France and Australia, as we've said before. All of a sudden, Visa and MasterCard at once, funnily enough, you know, suddenly decided that they're not going to support porn anymore. I think there's a larger capital push And, when I say capital, I mean like the people who own businesses. I think there's a larger push for them to collect people's information. And I think it's because the internet itself sort of runs on advertising money.
Yeah.
And, how much you can make off the internet, how much, worthwhile your website is, depends on the ads and how much you can convince people to pay for ad space.
Yeah, I think it's the conversion rate of clicks, right?
Yeah, conversion rate, clicks, that kind of, they have a bunch of different metrics. I don't know that much about it, but...
I can go into that if you want.
I'm sure we could. But anyway, the large collection of data is basically how most websites make money these days. They take your data and they sell it to advertising companies so that they can better target ads towards you. They've sort of run out of that because they already have everybody's information now. Everybody's information is taken through like cookies and surveillance bullshit on like Chrome or whatever. And they've kind of hit the upper limit of the amount of data they can actually have. So I think this is just an expansion of that. They're trying to open up more headspace so that the internet can keep, making money for people.
So it's not going to just push you like the ads, which are based off of cookies. They're going to send you ads based on your gender, your whatever you identify as, because, if you take pictures of your face, it's going to be quite obvious how your face is built and whatever. Then it's your age. Then your skin color, and all of a sudden they have all these new metrics.
Yep.
Like, I know it's a conspiracy theory at the moment, but when it's gonna be true, just
Plus, like a bunch of identifying numbers if you're using your passport or ID.
Oh yeah, they'll be like, oh, he is living here. He was born in the year.
He went on holiday here. He occasionally posts things, and then you can eventually, if you get a database big enough, you can connect that to basically everything you've ever done online ever. Yeah. From when you were a kid to now.
I'm actively deleting everything about all my personal information off the internet all the time, and it's so frustrating because it's so hard.
Yeah, it's difficult to do. Like even with like VPNs and like incognito, all those like services that delete your stuff, it's difficult to scrub yourself online.
It's very hard.
It's why some people go to dangerous sort of means to try and do it. Like Tor and things like that.
Well, there's this I can't remember their name. I don't have to remember their name because they don't pay us. So there's this company that actually scrubs the internet for you, as in deletes absolutely everything about you.
Oh yeah, I've seen those guys advertised. I don't think they always do what they say in the adverts they're going to do.
Well, to a certain degree, they do everything to a certain degree, right? They get rid of all your information to all these cookie providers.
Yeah.
They scrub all of that. They find your phone number and then they delete it from people that sell your phone number. So you know how you get those phone calls being like, "Hello, sir, how are you doing today?
I would like to sell you a car.
My name is John." And I'm like, no, you're not John. We know you're a scammer from India. Come on. We can clearly tell. That's so unfortunately for India, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody in the world now looks at them as the
scam guys.
The scam guys, which is because I know a lot of Indian and they're phenomenal people.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so upset that they get this reputation being like, oh yeah, you go work in a call center, right?
Yeah.
Like, just shut the fuck up.
It's like when everyone used to assume that Polish people were plumbers, stuff like that.
But they are, aren't they? No, that was a joke.
I'm not going to say what they used to say about Romanians.
Oh well, yeah, we're thieves.
Yeah.
We knew that. That's fine. Funny enough, we used to have a thief school in Romania.
Really?
Like, it was thief university. They actually closed it down.
So was it actually like how to steal shit? Or
yeah. So it was an underground thing, right? So it was run by Romanian mafia, because Romanian mafia, even though you don't know about them, they are everywhere. So it's an actual thing. That's why every time I go to a big major capital, there's so many Romanians, and I can tell you which ones are Romanians and which one's gonna steal your money. Like, I can see them in a crowd. It happened in Rome. Then we pushed that guy out of the way because we were large groups, so they were going for us. And then my other friends, they like, that guy, he is coming for us. We are marks,
Remind me to take you next time I'm on holiday.
It happened in Barcelona as well. So this old gypsy lady, well, I probably already talked about this, the old gypsy lady that you could tell she was gonna either steal your money or pretend she's poor. And then my mom's like, oh, shut up, you probably have a villa somewhere here from all your begging, so just don't talk to me. This was my mom.
Yeah.
So everybody knows. Anyway.
Would you feel bad if she was just genuinely really, like, fucked? Like,
no. She isn't. Like, my opinion on people finding themselves in the situation where they need to beg, so it's a little bit harsh, but
As in purge them from the planet.
No,
I'm an American
it's
politician.
not
Purge them.
No, not in that point. I feel like people should be bringing themselves up. If you are in for an addiction, go get some help, because there's so much help out there. You could get help.
Not enough, trust me.
Oh, I know there's not enough, Billy, but I feel like you still can build yourself up from the poverty that you. Anyway, let's move on.
Go join the Big Issue. They do good work.
Wow.
No, go join the Big Issue.
They do not, dude. They pay them nothing. Don't advertise that.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
They make them buy the magazines from them so they can sell it, so they can make 50p profit.
Yeah.
So don't say that.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, you know.
Enjoy the Big Issue.
Yeah, fuck the Big Issue, you're right. It's not even a good magazine anymore. It used to be pretty good. I used to buy quite a lot of those. But
I see. You have big issues.
Thanks, dude. This is the warm and respect I always get on this podcast. To be fair, I've spent like half an hour like ranting about Keir Starmer and porn, so you know, I probably don't deserve respect.
No, it's fine, dude. We're just having good fun. I hope.
So anyway, so this huge data collection that they're doing, essentially, you know, collecting people's faces, IDs, you know, all this stuff is basically going to be sold to private corporations who will then try and sell you stuff based on it, and you know. They're not doing this like directly in a way that we know about, but it also, you know, if you're tying your face to a porn account, and they every single site, every single one insists that don't worry, your face won't be like saved on anything, it won't be attached to your porn account. There's no way that anyone can possibly trace
but
your
they're
porn.
right, it's not attached to your porn account.
It's attached to everything else.
Exactly. That's not the point, is there? Yeah. That's just the means of getting your face.
Yeah, and I don't trust them to like disconnect that data at all, like from your porn history from your face. I don't think they're going to disconnect that
data. They're going to do the
data.
same as Facebook. Facebook's like, no, you're safe. And then they sold it to everybody.
Yeah, sold all your information, all your photos, you know. Oh, your nan's birthday. Okay, Peter Thiel knows that now, and he's going to try and sell you some gift cards right before, because they knows that you forgot your nan's birthday again.
You're horrible.
You're a terrible person if you forget your nan's birthday, which I routinely do every year. Anyway.
I didn't have to do anything there, Billy. You put yourself down.
I'm joking.
What's my role here?
I'm joking. I love my nan very much. She's awesome. Anyway, yeah, essentially what they're planning to do with this information, I'm not entirely sure, but it could end up in the hands of, say, intelligence services, the police, that kind of thing. And if someone has the information about what porn you've been watching, all it takes is one phone call for them to blackmail me, basically. You know,
which is fair. But actually, now a more horrible thought came to mind. You know, when Facebook sold all the information of everybody in America to the guys that were doing the polls for voting, that's how they're going to influence you.
Ooh.
Because they already did that in the United States.
They did.
So now they're going to be able to do that in the UK. And also France and also Australia.
Yeah.
So I just remembered. Actually, this already happened.
Is it a France thing or is it an EU thing?
No, it's a France thing.
Because I heard rumblings of the EU like proposing something similar.
They are, but I think the EU as a body, it's so much bigger that it has to be done state by state.
Yeah, it's a slow thing.
State or no, country by country.
Country by country, yeah.
Because America seems like.
Yeah. Don't confuse the two.
The United States of Europe.
Oh God, don't get them ideas.
I mean, that wouldn't be necessarily the worst thing in the world.
No, it wouldn't, and it makes a lot of sense, you know, from a fiscal and, you know, logistics perspective.
Maybe you're gonna bring out of poverty all the countries that are already in poverty in Europe, which are part of the European Union, as like Romania, Bulgaria, and all
Hungary,
that.
yeah.
Greece.
Yeah. Spain. Actually, no, Spain's doing all right.
No, Spain's doing all right now.
Yeah, Spain's fine. But, yeah, so if you combine, like, you know, a lot of things that have been happening recently, you know, with this massive sort of data collection scheme that the government is now doing, their crackdown on other forms of free speech, mostly stuff around Palestine and Israel, of course. I think as we speak, or was it yesterday? There was a Palestine Action March in London. Palestine Action has been deemed by the government as a terrorist group. They're not. They haven't, like, done anything. They just declared a terrorist group for supporting terrorism, which they're not doing. They're supporting, you know, Israel fucking off and letting Gazan people live, you know. But, you know, 83-year-olds have already been arrested for being connected to Palestine Action. say what you want about their methods. Those Just Stop Oil guys who got like 5 years for planning a disruptive protest, not even doing it. You know, free speech is kind of fucked in this country now, and this is just kind of a symptom of it. You know, it's not even a cause; it's just a symptom of it.
I mean, Stop Oil, because if you're giving Stop Oil as an example, they kind of messed up because they took the action that they did in the past. So when they saw them actually plan something else, the whole government panicked.
And that shouldn't be illegal either, though. That's the thing. What they were doing was like blocking roads. That's legal. You can do that. You know?
No, not without actually having an organized, because you are a disruption society.
Yeah, I mean,
so I do not
protest
agree
is
with
supposed to be disruptive. I mean, that's kind
but
of the point,
not
right?
if you disrupt other people's lives just because you want to express your opinion.
Well,
like we express our opinions, but I would not go out in the street and be like, Keir Starmer needs to perish. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do.
You're what's wrong with this society, Andre.
Why? Being actually logical? No, I'm being logical.
You know, this idea that protests aren't supposed, shouldn't interfere with people's lives. Yeah, they should. They should interfere with as much shit as possible.
Yeah, but dude, you could have maybe an ambulance would have had to go through there.
They would let an ambulance through.
They wouldn't let. I seen them. They wouldn't let anybody go through. Billy, we can argue about
We are going to argue about this, man. It's the right to fucking protest, and it's the reason we're in this situation. At the end of the day, protests of any size are going to be deemed too disruptive at some point.
Yeah.
There's been large marches, especially about Palestine, for years and years at this point. Only now are sort of the government kind of listening because the starvation and shit has gotten so bad that they finally have to address it. But, people have been protesting this, peacefully and as non-disruptively as possible, but when you get 100,000 people who are pissed off about something, it's going to
but that's
cause
an organized
protest,
right? So an organized protest, it's fine because the government has the opportunity to actually put measures into place where move roads and give people ways to actually go about their lives.
What if the government just says no, you can't?
Then that's not okay.
Yeah,
because you can't refuse people the right to protest. I agree with that. But if you do organize a protest that will absolutely disrupt everybody else's lives, because it is your right to protest, it's your right to opinion, but also at the same time, other people around you shouldn't be affected just because you're not gonna be.
I'm hearing MLK quotes circling in my head, man. Like,
okay,
this is the white moderate shit. This is what he was going on about in the letter from a Birmingham jail. Like, it's like, yes, we have our facsimile of order, and it's everything's nice and polite and quiet, and nobody's getting disrupted, even though these people are dying. So we're just protesting that. The facade of public order instead of actual justice is a thing MLK wrote quite extensively on. I suggest people read it. It's quite moving, actually, because he wrote it when he was in prison for being disruptive. You can't really have like these anti-disruption laws and still have free protest, really. Because all it does is basically just wind people up more. And if protesting becomes illegal, then, well, hey, so setting stuff on fire is also illegal. Might as well, in for a penny, in for a pound. That's the attitude of people, especially when it comes to stuff like climate change and, stuff that's going to kill us all. So you can kind of see the logic why people go, oh, okay, well, if they're going to make this illegal, I'm just going to go do more illegal things. And then you get eco-terrorism, Then you get people bombing fucking sites and shit like that. It's an interesting topic of discussion, but
we might go back to argue about this because I think I kind of sort of agree to some of your points, but also at the same time I'm like, we'll come back to it.
We'll do the great protest debate at some point, but not today. Okay. But yeah. There's already kind of, this Online Safety Act has already been sort of, causing censorship around things like, Ukraine war, Gaza, that kind of thing. It's probably only going to expand further because the reason why Keir Starmer is such a fucking moron, and there's many reasons.
The reason
he's such a moron and is not fit to run a bath, let alone the government, is because he's adopting a policy that isn't even his. This is a Tory policy from a few years ago.
from before he was elected. He had every opportunity to smack this down and say, well, the Tories are a bunch of nanny state bullshit cunts, fuck them. And everyone would have gone, yes, get him, Keith,
But he's a wet noodle, though. So.
He's a wet noodle. He doesn't believe in anything. So he's like, yes, I suppose banning porn would probably be a good thing, I suppose. And then he goes back to sleep and just doesn't notice. But the fact that his government ministers are coming out and defending like a Tory policy from a government that wasn't popular, everybody hated, nobody likes the Tories. So why are you putting their stuff in place? And why aren't you getting rid of the stuff they did that was bad before? Like their anti-free speech laws that they put in place.
Yeah.
There's a reason for
that.
Like
arresting people because they said something on Facebook.
Yes, that kind of shit.
Yes.
Those free speech laws they passed it during lockdown, so a lot the protests against them were pretty small, but there was a lot of protests, and a lot of people said they were anti-police because it said "kill the bill" on the sign.
Yeah.
The bill means the police for our non-English listeners, all two of you. But they weren't talking about killing the police. They were talking about killing the bill that's going to stop people from having free speech. And we're living in the aftermath of that now. It's kind of a mess, and I'm not really sure how what we're going to do about it. But the first step would be, logically, getting rid of those laws.
Yeah, they're not gonna, again, because there's nobody in the government that has a spine, so it's like...
It's like, I mean, Keir Starmer's a lawyer. He should know, the legal ramifications of those laws and what they do. He knows that they are bad. The reason he's not getting rid of them is because he wants to use those laws to benefit himself.
Obviously.
Which I don't care how, good, quote-unquote, Labour is with them. I don't care, if they're less awful than the Tories have been about this thing. It's still a shit idea to leave that stuff in place, because who's probably going to win the next election?
Nigel Farage.
Nigel Farage, who will probably immediately start, using it to restrict immigrants' rights to, have mosques or something. That's the kind of thing the Reform government is going to do when they come in.
Imagine that, because we're a country of immigrants, dude.
Yeah, we really are. It's going to suck for anyone who isn't a British citizen once Reform comes in power. So get your shit together, guys. Get your citizenship. It's you got 4 years. Go.
Don't want it, though.
Sorry, dude. I can't have you be evicted from the country. So please get your citizenship before then. It's going to get really, really bad. This is the same thing that Obama did, basically, in the States. He inherited the Bush government with massive powers of invading your free speech, and keep slurping that directly into the microphone. Nice.
Yeah, I realized after I did it.
Just too late.
Yes, too late.
But Obama inherited a government with massive powers of overreach into the American system. They were spying on everybody. Bush was illegally wiretapping people. That's what the Patriot Act was, and Obama gave none of those powers back. And who has the government now? Trump!
An orange clown.
An orange clown fascist who wants to just kill Mexicans because I don't know why. I don't even think he cares that much. He just thinks it's funny.
Have you seen, just to make it a little bit funny, have you seen that guy going around in front of the White House with a banner saying, keep the Mexican women because we like big booties? I mean, it's...
Oh, that is a Trump supporter thing to say, if I've ever heard it.
I'm not completely sure because I only saw a little short of it. I didn't catch...
Well, when they said they were coming after the immigrants, I didn't realize they were coming after the ones with the big asses. I never support that. Fucking Americans.
Americans. They're fucking ridiculous.
But yeah, the sort of cultural tendency to, for a large, nasty sort of fascist movement to gain control of a government that already has too much power is kind of a thing that we're still seeing everywhere.
Yeah,
in Italy,
it's a worldwide thing, right? There isn't any country at the moment that's not just taking all the rights away from their people.
Yeah, I mean,
name me one that it's free.
New Zealand, I think. I mean, they have less bullshit than Australia, I suppose.
I don't know.
I mean, nobody ever thinks about New Zealand. I might be wrong. There might be someone Kiwi in the audience who's like losing their fucking minds.
They're like, what are you talking about? We have no rights.
Yeah, well, you know, there might be some like suppression of some indigenous groups or some shit that I don't know.
Oh, the 100% suppression of indigenous.
Probably is.
That's been going on. You guys started that.
we did. Hey, we didn't start it. We just did it very well.
Okay. Wow.
Technically, the Spanish beat us to it, but still, we're not arguing over which empire was worse.
That's not making it better. Just leave it.
So let's try and end this on like a sort of constructive note. The world is shit. Everything's getting worse. Fascism is on the rise, and it's probably going to come for us at some point soon. I
mean, if we keep on talking like this, imagine if this podcast will ever get any traction.
Oh yeah, Ofcom would be right up our asses if we actually, mattered.
We don't matter anyway.
Thank fuck for that. Anyway, so as people who don't matter, let's put in some like prescriptions. You've already mentioned like my big one, sex education. Yeah. If you want to get like protect kids from the harmful effects of porn, sex education, man. Yeah. I mean, if you're worried that your kids are going to learn what sex is from like watching, I don't know, some guy with like a 12-inch dick like just ream this girl out, then if you're worried that's going to give them bad expectations, set those expectations first. Yeah. Get there before, Just
go to your child and say, it's okay, you don't have a small penis. That's how it is.
The point was, don't say that to your child.
That will set expectations, dude.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But like, you're just average. It's okay. We'll do the job. Let me show you this on this doll.
Oh god, damn it, dude! You're not helping my argument here.
No, that wasn't my point. Sorry, Billy.
But like comprehensive sex education, and this sounds weird, but basically every like sort of scientific study that we have on like how to do sex education and which one works the best. Basically, I did a module about this at uni, like sexual health and why people make the decisions they do, why people decide to not wear condoms, that kind of thing, why people might not take contraception. One thing that my old professor said to me, and he was very, very blunt about this, he said, if you want to, fix sexual health in this country, just do what the Dutch do. Just steal it. Just literally look at their policy and steal it.
I mean, yeah, what's wrong with that, though? Like, it's if it's a good policy, if it's something, and they did all the legwork.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, just steal it.
Yeah, they put together like a very comprehensive framework. It starts like quite young, like 7-ish, with like relationship kind of things. Like okay, like this is what like a consent is. This is what like pressure is. Like they were basically trying to armor these kids against like being manipulated. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
It's a good place to start.
This is what a happy, healthy, consenting relationship looks like. Like model it for them.
If they sort of psychologically abuse you, not physically, just psychologically play with your mind in such a manner that makes you dependent of them, maybe you should go away from that relationship.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. And you need to understand, as kids, there are adults who will try and convince you to do things that you don't want to do.
Just don't do them.
Even just the awareness of that, like just the awareness, there are some people out there who will try and trick you into bad situations. Just being aware of that will like reduce your risk of getting molested, because you'll be able to go, wait, this is going bad.
If
I'm going to run and tell my parents.
If he offers you candy and a dog in a white van, don't go there.
Pretty basic idea, like pretty obvious advice, but
kids wouldn't know it's obvious.
No,
because they didn't have the life experience that you had as an adult.
As a former teacher, kids are fucking morons.
I completely agree.
they if you didn't tell them to get into the white van to see the puppies, then they would do it. If you didn't tell them not to, they would just go straight in there.
Because puppies.
Exactly.
I would go in a white van.
I like puppies.
Yeah, I would go in a white van.
It would probably work on a hefty portion of adults.
Tell me you have cats in that van, mate. The things I'll do.
You're just gonna jump in there without it.
Where's the cat?
And then you just hear click.
Like fuck.
There's the door locking.
I'm getting abducted again.
So what I'm saying we should do is we should go to Holland, a place where prostitution is legal, drugs are mostly legal, and even though the government's been taken over by a right-wing dickhead, it doesn't seem to be like going back on that. It seems to be holding these things firmly in place, and the reason for that is obvious. They have the best outcomes of anyone in Europe. They have the lowest amount of teen pregnancies, the lowest amount of like teen abortions as well. Really low STD rates, considering prostitution is legal. There's all this stuff.
Again, that goes with the argument that if you make it legal, then you have to put safety managers in place.
Exactly. Basically, if we just sort of copy what the Dutch get right, we could just We could fix this problem within a generation or two. It would not be an issue.
And then we even make a bit of tax on top of that, because it's legal now.
Yeah. Legalize the sex trade as alongside it,
Yeah. Drugs as well.
Drugs. We make so much money off drugs, dude.
The UK is such a vast consumer of weed.
Yeah, and producer.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You already have an infrastructure into place. Just start selling legal weed, man.
I know. It's really depressing that the only person in the last election who was supporting legal weed was Ed Davey of the Liberal Democrats. That's really depressing to me, man.
I don't know who that is, actually.
Of course you don't, because he's not relevant. The Lib Dems kind of buried themselves for like an entire generation when they said they were going to scrap tuition fees and then didn't. So, they deserve their irrelevance, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, but who would cover those tuition? That's...
We had free education in this country for nearly 100 years, dude. We had it for a long ass time, and then Tony Blair fucked us on that.
But you need to find new... Let's not go down that road, because that's a different...
We can just do it by taxing the rich, dude. That's the... Anyway, if anyone ever asks you, how are you going to pay for that? Tax the rich. That's what we're going to do. Beyond just sex education and having breaking this kind of very British attitude of no sex please, we don't talk about it in this country, in polite society, if we can break through that cultural bullshit and just say, okay, kids, here's the score. There are going to be people offline and online who are going to try and mess with you. Here's how you keep yourself safe. All these risks that they're so worried about with kids being exposed to porn will completely fucking disappear. And you'll also get a whole bunch of other positive social benefits out of it as well. The reason they don't want to do that is because this costs money to do. It would cost money to do that. They don't want to pay teachers. We know that. That's why teachers spent a good few years basically on strike every other week.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay government experts to work out a curriculum for this. It will take time. It will take money, and that's not something that the British government is interested in spending on its people. That's basically the long and the short of it. So, now that you are all forewarned, there are petitions online trying to get people to sort of repeal the Online Safety Act. They've passed the threshold of where it has to be debated in Parliament, and Parliament, of course, said no, they're not going to. They've had the discussion behind closed doors apparently, and no, they're not actually going to repeal it. Keep protesting though, keep mentioning it, keep don't let the fact that they're going to scream about think of the children, don't let that get in the way of arguing against it, because I believe there's a Frank Zappa quote that I'm going to sort of really butcher here. This puts supreme this is very condescending to the idea that children are people. This is going to hurt a lot of people this is not going to save any children, and it's not going to protect anyone who is not a child, and it's going to be a massive problem for people who are just trying to live and make things freely. Frank Zappa was talking about music censorship at that point, but essentially he kind of nailed it off of every sort of kind of... You can't actually keep it out of the hands of kids, and in trying to do that...
You're going to make it even worse, actually.
You're going to make it worse.
They might end up having... see worse things that they would have normally seen off of a legal porn site.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as a child, who grew up with the internet, sort of just growing alongside us, there was all sorts of dodgy sort of backroom kind of forums that you used to go on before the internet became so homogenous.
And you would have seen much worse things on the internet that you would see nowadays, especially if you go to Pornhub or whatever.
We've been saying it 50 times. There's no reason to try and
at this point,
it
it's if you go on sites like that, at least that's sort of monitored. To the idea that you're not gonna see, I don't even want to think what you're gonna see.
That's the thing, it escalates quickly. There was tons of websites. I'm trying to think of the names of they're websites that don't exist anymore, but they're kind of I used to go on a lot of LiveJournal sort of stuff. People used to post mad shit on there, you just
because there was no regulation in place.
Yeah, you could just type it out, and you could put photos on there. And there will always be a way to sort of distribute porn, no matter how. Botched and half-assed it will be. And with VPNs and everything we've got today, this whole thing is basically an exercise in pointlessness that does nothing except, hand Nigel Farage a thing to be correct about. and make Labour look like shit, and basically push the country further towards like the sort of,
Reform UK.
The Reform UK fascism that's basically going to, swamp all over us and fuck our lives up.
That's going to be fun when it's going to get here.
Oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait for my job to be made illegal because it's too woke or something.
Yeah, just looking after people's rights going to be illegal.
Yeah, it's going to suck. But there are simple and obvious solutions to this. None of them will be taken by the government, but we can suggest them loudly through social media and bombarding them with letters and, signing those petitions whenever you see them. I know it's a bit tacky to sign petitions and it feels a bit useless, but sign the petitions. Why not? That's where we're going to leave it today. I think we've rambled and ranted enough.
It's probably an hour and a half, isn't it?
It's actually it's not, dude. I haven't completely editing fucked you on this one. But for the meantime,
like, subscribe.
I always forget to say that. Like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends if you agree with us, or argue with us if you disagree with us. I'm fine with both. In the spirit of free speech, try and use a VPN when interacting this video, because then we get double views from you watching it twice. Investigate things carefully, people, and have yourself a wonderful day.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye-bye.